Hi, this is Emma Goodsir for Career Analysts with a short guide on how to use the new Morrisby Manager. So there are three tabs that I'm going to concentrate on. Up here on the left we've got Home, Dashboard and Students, and they're the three I'm going to talk about. The ones below are not as relevant for you. So we are currently on the home page, and there's just two things that I want to show you on this page. Here, top left, Getting Started, is where you will find your Morrisby codes. And if you have more than one, the one that you want to use for group testing is very likely to be the one that says Unlimited Profile, Aptitudes, Accounts, Charged Monthly. The other thing I want to show you on this page is the tab that takes you off to the Morrisby support site. If this video fails to cover something, I can almost guarantee that you'll be able to find the answer to any question you might have by clicking on this tab. Now I'm going to click over here on the left on Dashboard, and for those of you that used to use Morrisby Online, this has replaced the Stats tab, and this is where you can see statistics on the students that you have tested. So what it is a good idea to do first is to go up here to the top right and select the group you're interested in looking at, unless you are interested in looking at all students ever tested. You can then flip around, and this one's already flipped around. I'm going to go to Degree Suggestions and click on this little flipping icon, and it will show us, for the group that you have selected, what degrees were suggested and to how many students. And you can actually see which students had these things suggested to them by clicking on the actual little bar, and that will give you the name of the students, and that might be useful to you. So that's Dashboard. Now I'm going to go down to Students, and this is the most important of these tabs on the left and where you will spend most of your time. We are currently looking at this top menu here. We are currently on Overview, and this is where you can see the students' names, all students ever tested in alphabetical order. You can see their sign-up date, and you can see when they last logged in and their year group, and you can click on these headings to sort in that order. I'm now going to click on Assessment, and this has a lot of information on it. This is the page you want to be on during the actual test, because you will be able to see the progress of the students as they actually take the test by refreshing the page every so often. Now we've got the names of the tests along the top: verbal, numerical, abstract, spatial, mechanical, personality, aspirations. The colours tell us, it's like a traffic light system. It tells us how well each test went. Green means it looks like everything was fine. Yellow, which we can't see on this page, indicates there may have been an issue. Red suggests that there really may have been an issue. So if I just hover over this, it says verbal, exceptionally high, made quite a few mistakes, perhaps working too fast. So it's just speculation, but it's just an alert for you, just in case. Now the other thing you can see on this page are these little double arrows, single arrows, and then maybe single arrows down, double arrows down, and dashes. This is so that you can see from this page a snapshot of how the candidate did. So for example, this candidate sample here, they did exceptionally well on verbal, because we've got the double arrow up. Single arrow, numerical, they did well on that, well on abstract, well on spatial, well on mechanical. Let's look for a slightly different one. This one here, very high on verbal, the dash means average on numerical. So that's how to read all of that information there. Now, usually, if you've been testing for a few years, you want to first of all go up here, top right, to Select Group. And this is where you can select the group of students that you actually want to look at. Often that will be Year 10, but it might be last year's Year 10. You can also create your own groups and call them whatever you like. This is probably the most important button on this page, far right, Actions. This is where you can do all the things you want to do with regards to Morrisby and students. But first, you have to select at least one student. So I can select a student, or if I want to select the whole lot, you just click on this there next to name and it will select all of them. I'm going to unselect that and I'm just going to select one person. Going back over here to actions, actions will only work if you have selected at least one student, but you can select hundreds at once if you want. Let me show you what's here. So here is where you can add students to a newly created group, assign students to a group you've created. You can reset assessments. So if something went wrong for a student and they need to say reset the verbal test or reset all of them, that's where you can do that. Be very careful, because if you do reset assessments for a student, their data is lost and they have to retake the assessment. So just be aware that you have the power to do that, but be careful. Here is where you can activate the vocabulary test for ESL students if you wish. This is also where you can unlock results that are locked or lock results that should have been locked. It is also where you can generate reports en masse if you want, so PDF copies. And then here there is also things like send password reset email, create recovery codes for students that can't remember how to get into their report. They always do have the option though of just clicking forgotten login from the login page themselves. So not everything in this actions drop down is relevant, but there's a lot of very relevant things there. The only other things I want to show you on this page are, if we click on a person's name, so I'm actually clicking on their name, it will open up and just give me a summary pretty much of all of their results there on the screen for you to see. The other thing I want to show you here is add meeting notes. If you want, you can click on this after speaking with a student and make some meeting notes, and then they can actually see those from within their report. I'll just go back to the Students tab and the Assessment page. The other thing I want to show you is over here, the right-hand side reports. If you just want to print out the Careers Advisor summary, which is known as the Advisor report, or the full student PDF report for one student, this is where you can do it. If you want to print these things out in bulk, it is easier to select all and do it via actions. The last thing I want to show you is this little impersonate student button, and again this is one that needs to be used with caution. When we click on this, you are entering the student's report as if you are them. If you change anything, it will change, so you do need to be very careful. So the reason you would use this is if a student came along to talk about their Morrisby and they didn't have their laptop or they couldn't remember how to log in, this is the quickest way for you to get in and look at their report. So that covers most things that you need to know about Morrisby Manager. If in doubt, most of what you need to know will be here in the Actions tab. So if you're on Students, Assessment, select some or all of the students and click on Actions, you will be able to do most things. Thanks for listening.